and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Anna and I'm so happy you're here today. This channel is all about home cooking and delicious recipes that I've grown up eating or that I've made over the last several years that I absolutely love. And right now we are in the middle of a fall series. And today we are doing apple cinnamon muffins and I'm so excited. I actually haven't made these muffins in like 5 or 6 years, but they are delicious and I'm really excited to make them again. So let's go over all the ingredients. I have 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a cup of sugar, a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter softened at room temperature, 2 eggs, half a cup of sour cream, a teaspoon or so of vanilla extract, and this is a 1/4 cup of milk. I may or may not need this. We're just going to see at the end how thick it is because I usually have to add just a little bit. I've also got 2 apples over here. I'm almost finished grating. I'll talk about that in just a minute. And then we're going to do a streusel topping. So I've got half a cup of regular sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, a pinch of cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of flour. This is optional, but I love pecans, and so this is about a 1/4 cup or a 1/3 cup of chopped pecans. If you don't like pecans, you could use walnuts or almonds, or you can just leave the nuts out in all. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to finish grating my apples. These are Honeycrisp, but use any apple you like. You need about 2 apples, and I'm just going to shred these really good, and then we'll get started on the rest of the batter. All right, now that my apples are grated, they're turning a little bit brown, but it's totally fine. It's not going to affect the taste. I did not feel like taking out my standing mixer today, so I'm just going to use my big bowl, a whisk, and my spatula, but you could totally use your standing mixer if you don't feel like doing it by hand. So I'm going to start with my softened butter at room temperature and my half a cup of sugar, and I'm going to use my spatula to mix it together really well. Now that my butter and sugar are creamy, I'm going to add in my 2 eggs and use my whisk to whisk that up, along with my teaspoon of vanilla. Now I'm adding in my half cup of sour cream. It's probably going to look like it's curdling for just a second, but it is very normal and it's going to be just fine. I'm taking all of my dry ingredients and just briefly mixing them together with a spoon. And we'll add those in, and then we'll add in the apple, and then we'll see if we need to add in the milk. All right, you can see that's very thick, so I am going to go ahead and add in my 1/4 cup of milk, and I think that will be perfect. So I'm just going to briefly mix this together, and then we'll be ready to scoop them in our muffin tin. All right, my batter looks great, and it smells even better. I cannot wait to eat these later. I've got my muffin liners ready, and this makes exactly 12, and they're pretty big, so we're going to make 12 muffins. I've got my little ice cream scoop. I think this is a tablespoon and a half, so I might need to do 2 or 3 scoops for each one. So I'm going to fill these up, and then we'll make our streusel topping. I forgot to mention this was in the fridge so it would stay cold. This is 3 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter that I cubed up, and that's going to go in our streusel as well. Alright, I've got my batter scooped in my muffin tin, and I want to lick the whole bowl, but I'm not going to. I'm going to set that aside and get my streusel topping ready. So all I'm going to do is add the butter to this first, and you could use a pastry cutter or 2 forks. I just like using my clean fingers, and I'm going to just mix this together until the butter is in small little pieces, and then after that we'll add in the pecans. I forgot to mention that you should have your oven preheated at 375, and I did that a while ago, just forgot to tell you. I've got my muffin liners all filled up, and now I'm just going to take little handfuls and just sprinkle the streusel topping on top of each one. All right, they need to go in the oven at 375 for about 20 to 25 minutes or until they're fully cooked through. And I cannot wait to smell my house in a few minutes. It's gonna smell amazing. Here we go. My muffins just came out of the oven. They baked exactly for 25 minutes. And I took my toothpick and I inserted it in the middle of a few of them, and they're perfect. They were coming out clean with just a few crumbs, so they're perfect. I cannot wait to stuff my face with one of these. You have no idea, it smells divine. But they do have to cool off, so after about 10 or 15 minutes, I'll transfer them to a little cooling rack, let them cool a little bit more, and then we'll taste them. My muffins have been cooling here for about 15 minutes, and I cannot wait a second longer. They smell so good, and I cannot wait to dig in. I've got little Halloween muffin liners. They're so cute. My little boy and little girl are outside splitting one of these right now. They are so happy. You don't even know how good that is until you try it. It's absolute perfection. You can taste the apple, you can taste the cinnamon. There's nothing wrong with these muffins, and I really hope that you try these muffins this fall. Halloween is in just a few days, and this would be the perfect little treat to make for your little Halloween party. I know I'm gonna be making these again this weekend, so really hope that you enjoyed this recipe and this video. If you try this recipe, let me know down in the comments. Follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. I've got my link down below. And I'm so excited to continue to share videos. And pretty soon we're going to be all about Thanksgiving in a couple weeks. So excited. Thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.